Hi, it's Michelle and Shan Songbird Song. We had a group meeting at the Journey Church Zoom call set up. And one of the girls said, I asked her, she was talking about all the different things she does. The question was, what is your hobby? So she makes all necklaces and tiny chairs and just, she was just doing so many different things. I said, what are you, a Gemini? What sign are you? So she said, I rebuke you. Rebuke me? What does he just curse me? What does rebuke mean? I was shocked and horrified when she said, I rebuke you. You know, like an exorcist or something, right? So when I got after the meeting, nobody answered my question, what does rebuke mean? All those Christians there, not one answered me. So I looked it up in the dictionary. It said, to express sharp disapproval or criticism of someone because of their behavior or actions, a reprimand, a reproach. That's a verb, I believe. So the noun is an expression of sharp disapproval or criticism. The meaning of rebuke is to criticize, sharply reprimand. In the Bible, it means to criticize him or her pointedly for a particular observed sinful behavior. You rebuke the insolent, accursed ones who wander from your commandments. Psalms 119:21. That's what I said. What, am I cursed now? Did you just curse me? So I get that she thought, apparently, or acted like she thought, that astrology is a sin. Now, astrology was made legal in the 20s, I believe it was, when Evangeline Adams did the horoscope of the judge's son so accurately. The judge said, this astrology is a science. You have the right to practice it and charge money. It is now legal. So it's a science, so how is it that it's a sin? You know, it's not a sin. When I went to India to see the guru, he said, astrology is a science. The trouble is, it's almost impossible to find a good astrologer. See? So, I'll go on with the definitions I found for rebuke. As for those who persist in sin, rebuke them in the presence of all, so that the rest may stand in fear. It's Timothy 5:20. So I guess she was trying to make the other people in the group afraid to practice, to be involved with astrology, to know your sun sign, I guess. So then I went to the website, Christianity.com. And these are excerpts from the Christianity.com website editorial staff's article on the meaning of rebuke. It said, for a modern definition, Vocabulary.com gives the following description of rebuke as it may be used in a contemporary context. The word rebuke can be a verb, meaning, but what we talk about is modern. The Journey Church prides itself on being modern. You don't have to dress up. It's called casual dress, which I dress up because to me church is a special occasion and I dress up for special occasions. But they're so modern they don't require a certain dress code. So then how come they're not modern enough to know that astrology is a science, it's not a superstition or anything like that, or a sin? How could it be a sin? Well, what's sinful about it? To understand yourself. It helps you to understand yourself, and it helps you to understand other people. So let's go on. So the word rebuke, according to vocabulary.com, can be a verb meaning to sternly reprimand or scold, but it can also be a noun because a rebuke is a result of being scolded. So she scolded me for something that wasn't even anything wrong with it. I was not wrong. So I was scolded, though I wasn't in the wrong, you see. So that's injustice. The root comes from the old French Rebuked, and means to hack down or beat back. A rebuke, then, is meant to be critical and to chide. In today's terms, a rebuke is a verbal smackdown. And that's exactly what I felt when she said it that way. I rebuke you. I felt that, you know. And so they just brushed over it and said, well, she didn't want to tell you her sign, so why didn't she just say, I don't want to tell you my sign, you know. We'll see later. They do explain in this article where she was coming from. The Greek, which surprised me, the Greek word most often translated in rebuke. I'm going to move the camera to the pictures on the wall or something. Okay. So the Greek word most often translated as rebuke in the New Testament is alecho, which means to reprimand and convict by exposing, sometimes publicly, a wrong. There are moments when we all should be rebuked, said the Christian editorial staff, if we fall into sin. But we just told you astrology is legal. It's a science. It's not a sin. But he says there are times when a believer needs to rebuke another believer with love and discernment. Okay, I was not rebuked with love and discernment. I was smacked down. Proper Christian rebuking starts from the heart. Before we confront anyone about anything, we should first consider our own motives. 1 Corinthians 16:14 says, let everything be done in love, including rebuking someone. There is a right way and a wrong way to rebuke someone. Wrong rebuking arises from pride, wrath. I would say she was wrathful. That tone of voice, resentment, envy possibly, or other egotistical attitudes. You see, that's why one does wrong rebuking. The aim of a misguided rebuke is to harm, shame, or self-righteously judge a fellow Christian. Many of the Bible's teachings against judging others relate to those who rebuke others for the very things they do themselves. So she rebuked me for sinning. She must be sinning herself. And that Bible verse is from Matthew 7:3-5. Paul wrote, I discipline my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified. 1 Corinthians 9:27. At first I didn't understand that, but now I think I understand it. He says, I discipline my body and make it my slave. After I have preached as a slave to others, I myself will not be disqualified, because I'm not saying I'm superior to them. I'm saying I'm their slave. So the preacher is a slave, according to St. Paul. It should be anyway, not some superior godlike person. Brothers, if anyone is caught in any transgression, you who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness. Keep watch on yourself, lest you too be tempted. Galatians 6:1. So, if she thought I was sinning, she should have said it in a gentle way, not, yelling at me. I rebuke you, you sinner. Like some demon. She sounded like. Okay, that's all I have to say. I'm gonna do talking to her therapy so I can get these feelings I have about her out of my system. And I'm gonna pray and ask God to help me forgive her, so that I can detach from her, because I don't want to be carrying some grudge around with some, what did I say? She was resentful, wrathful, envious woman. Okay, so, I don't know. I hope you got something out of this video. It helps me to realize that there are Christians who can explain things, because that Christian staff of Christianity.com did a fine job of explaining about the word rebuke, because it's such an old-fashioned word. I had no clue as to what it was about. So that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching.